This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup, register, and attend one of our fantastic networking meetings, which we meet on the first and third Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park, and the second and fourth Thursday at the Upper Crust in Newtown Square. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Rich Shane, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Chris Earley of Canopy Home and Building Services. Chris, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. What's going on?
What's going on is we're talking Canopy and Canopy Home and Building Services, and I know from our preliminary conversation, this is going to be very informative. And you can tell I'm already excited to learn more about you and what you do. How did Canopy Home and Building Services get started?
It was our COVID pivot, if you will. And I hate that term, and I hate the things that changed because of COVID. But as you know, we have an inspection business, and our inspection business was doing really well coming out of COVID. COVID slowed everything up shortly after that. The rates started coming up. Started being less inventory, as you know well, and I needed something else to kind of pay the bills and kind of keep busy. So our COVID pivot was to start a general contracting company. It's a completely separate company. Our inspectors don't do the work, and our technicians don't do any inspections. And we certainly don't change our home inspection reports to get the work, assuming we're going to get that work. So we started it coming out of COVID to answer a problem of people can't find good contractors. Definitely ones that answer their phone. And ones that, you know, they need a guy that will show up when they say he will and do the job. So I feel like there's just a lot of, or I should say a lack of good tradespeople coming out of COVID.
When people meet you or people hear about your company, what would you like them to think about or to identify with you most or to keep you top of mind?
Because I came up the way I did kind of in the inspection field, I mean, we're more of an advocate for the home and for the homeowners than we are most contractors. Most contractors, you get out to a house, you say, I got a roof leak. The roofer's going to come out and probably say, you need a new roof. You know, you got siding that's popping out on the outside of your house. You're going to call a siding guy. The siding guy's probably going to say, you need to redo all your siding. Your heater stops working. You're going to get a heater guy out there. The heater guy's probably going to say you need a new heater. For us, we can take like a holistic look at the house and say, hey, and the person, by the way, and say, hey, you know, you probably just need to take down the siding on this side, re-screw in the plywood, and put the siding back up. Or, hey, that roof probably just needs a silver coat. Or maybe you need new gaskets around the plumbing stack. So, of course, we're going to get paid for our work. We're contractors. That's what we do. But I'd like to think that we can be more of an advocate for the homeowner instead of just being like, oh, it's a roof problem. We're going to give you a new roof. You know what I mean? Just so we can be like a little bit more personal.
How did you get started in the home business? I mean, inspecting and then doing the contracting work. I've liked houses and buildings my entire life. I went to Temple. I have a degree in construction management. I worked for a couple big construction management companies right out of college. I worked for Hovnanian. That was the last job I did before I started my home inspection company. And that was in '07. And in '07, I saw that they didn't have another job to put me on because that was kind of the peak of that housing boom. And K-Hov was kind of winding things up in the Philly area. So I figured that now's as good a time as any to start a new business. And I figured what else to get into except start something in the real estate field. So I've been around it pretty much, you know, most of my life. I mean, that's my degree. I love it. I love houses. I love commercial buildings. It's fun. You mentioned you're an advocate for the homeowner, for the house. What, in your perspective, are areas that you feel that come up on an inspection quite often that a homeowner should be more aware of or be more diligent to be mindful of their home or their home maintenance or just keeping up with things?
It should be the stuff that is maybe not a defect at the time of the inspection when they buy the house, but stuff that's really, really expensive that is going to become an issue in the next few years. That's the biggest thing, is all the high ticket stuff. It's like, hey, your roof is 15 years old. There's nothing wrong with it. But guess what? In the next 5 years, 10 years, there's going to be, and it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be $20,000. Is really setting the buyer's expectations about the big ticket items. And I'm talking about the heating and cooling system. I'm talking about the roof. I mean, those are the big things that people have to maintain. Like, you actually have to maintain a home. You can't just buy a house and live in it forever and not put any money into it. Roof's going to have to be changed out every 20, 30 years. HVAC system's going to have to be changed out every 15 to 20.
2024 is upon us now. We're going to be in the first week. This is where we are now. And it appears as though within the real estate industry, from what I'm seeing, we're still going to be competitive. It's going to be competitive for buyers. And in the last couple of years, buyers have removed contingencies like home inspection and wood destroying insect inspection and paying cash, or all the things to make them more attractive to that seller. Are there opportunities or are there products that Canopy offers or you offer that can give buyers some peace of mind when buying that home while they still have to be competitive?
Yeah, as far as what Liberty Inspection Group does, and that's our home inspection company, we've offered walk-in talks before. We walk through consultation where they can get one of my inspectors for an hour and they pay a much smaller fee and there's no written report. So you get our expertise and it's verbal. And your clients, Rich, would take a notepad and they just write stuff down. Okay, I see that the roof's a little bit older. The heating system looks like it's not heating. You don't have any GFCI receptacles in anywhere. And it's literally a walkthrough consultation. It's not a home inspection. You don't get a report, but it's cheaper and it doesn't take a lot of time. And sometimes that's a good way for your clients to be able to waive their home inspection contingency, but still have peace of mind that the house they're buying is what they expect. And we also do post settlement inspections. So people, we actually just did one last week. People bought the house and we came in the next day and did a home inspection on it anyway, because they just wanted to know. They don't have any recourse to go back to the seller and say, we want money off, or we want you to fix the HVAC, but at least they know. So we can do either or. And that's what we've been doing a lot the last couple of years.
Okay. So with Canopy Home and Building Services, talk about the services that you can provide to that homeowner.
We're a residential and commercial repairs and renovations. So we've done office fit outs. We like those a lot. We will do residential kitchens, bathrooms, decks. We've done some basement finishing. We've done a couple home office conversions where they want to change a bedroom into a home office, or they want to add a closet or blow out a closet. So we've done a few of those. Yeah, a lot of stuff on the residential side. We're not into like new home construction, but pretty much everything else.
Is there a point where you say that's too big? I can refer to somebody else that I know has an expertise in that?
Yeah, we're not going to do custom home new builds at this point. I mean, I definitely have other people to refer out for that. If somebody says, I have a plot of land and I want to build a nice custom home, we would not do that, but we would definitely refer it out.
Would you put on an addition to a home?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
So that's not too big for you.
Nope.
How about too small? I mean, everybody sometimes, comes across this little honey-do list, and honey, just don't do it, don't have the time,
Yeah, honestly, we take that stuff like more the handyman stuff, Rich, but it's more kind of like we'll build it around the other bigger jobs we have. So if we get a couple bathrooms that we're doing at a time, if we have a dead day where the client's not going to be there to let us in for the bathroom, we can fit in some of that smaller stuff. And we can send a guy out to do, like, there's a couple property management companies we do work for, and they'll send us a list every time their tenant puts in a maintenance request. We'll automatically get the email and we schedule it with the tenant. And it could be as small as changing out a ceiling fan or painting a room or something small. We can do that.
What sets Canopy apart?
We answer the phones for starters. We show up when we say we're going to show up. We do return people's calls. Again, we're an advocate for the homeowner, and we know that for every problem in a home or for every issue, there's not going to be one solution. So I like to think that we're very open-minded and we can really do what's in the best interest of the client.
Is there anything we haven't touched on about Canopy or about you that you want our listeners to know?
I mean, we do work in the greater Philly area. So we're in the four counties, Philadelphia, Delaware County, Montgomery County, Chester County. That's our primary location, but we've done work in South Jersey before. We've done work up in Pottstown. So we'll cover a pretty big footprint. We do repairs, obviously, for home inspection reports. So if you get a home inspection report, Rich, for one of your clients and you need somebody to do the work, Canopy will do that. We've done real estate investment fit outs, as in like a tenant turnover. They move out, you need to paint and put new carpets in for the next tenant. We've done that.
How do people contact you?
CanopyBuildingServices.com. We are active on social media, on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, I believe. Or they can email me, Chris@CanopyBuildingServices.com.
Chris, you mentioned you answer the phone. What's the number people should use?
Oh, that's a good question. 610-717-3082.
Awesome. Now you're out and about in the Delco community. It's lunchtime for you and the crew. Where are you going for a cheesesteak?
Oh, well, if I'm not allowed to, if I have to stay in Delco, that's a good question. Because I went to Temple and I grew up going to Pat's. Well, I grew up Pat's and Geno's. But let's see, in Delaware County, I don't know, dude. I'm open to recommendations. I can't say where a good cheesesteak place is in Delaware County.
All right, you have to listen to our episode with Jim Pappas of Cheesesteak Adventure, and he can give you some recommendations. Look for him on social media. All right, it may not be the cheesesteak you're looking for or have a craving for, but what about pizza? Where are you going for pizza?
Well, I've been upset, and this isn't what you want to hear. I've been to Brick and Brew a lot lately. That's my local go-to. You want to meet up rich and have lunch? We go to Brick and Brew.
They make an amazing flatbread pizza. I mean, that's not anything we wouldn't want to hear. They're delicious.
Lately, I've been having the flatbread pizza from Brick and Brew.
All right. This one, I think you'll have a good sense about. You need a convenience store option to make sure you're hydrated or need a cup of coffee. Where are you going? Wawa or Royal Farms?
That shouldn't even be a question, man. It's like asking, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I'm going to Wawa.
Is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
Absolutely it is.
Okay. All right. Chris, how do you explain Delco to somebody that doesn't live here or has never heard of Delco before?
A very intertwined community in a good way. People that know their shit, people that are diehard in everything. And we're talking about sports, we're talking about family, we're talking about their neighborhood. Just people that know how to live life, man. And I just love how everybody's kind of like intertwined. Like some people look at that as a bad thing. I look at it as a great thing.
You have friends or family coming in from out of town. You want to give them or take them to have that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Good question. Delco experience. Well, believe it or not, we go to Harvest every now and then in Glen Mills on 202. We like that. That's if you want to go out for like a nice dinner. If you want to go out for like a casual lunch, I love Zach's Burgers in Aston. Love Zach's. It's like a really good burger. You get a really good shake. They're not crushing you on price like Five Guys is. So Zach Burgers would be my casual place.
If you could wave a magic wand and could change or improve or do away with something in Delco, what would it be?
I would do away with the perception of Delco. And what I mean by that is, so my wife's from Delaware County. I'm from the Poconos. I'm like a transplant. But I really do love Delaware County so much. I got one of those shirts that says Delco. And I know when I wear it out, sometimes it's got like a negative connotation. Like some people think it's trashy. Some people think Delco, like Delco proper or whatever, is like not a good thing. And I would do away with that perception because people have it wrong. People who are not from Delco have it all wrong.
They're haters, man. That's what it is.
100%.
If you're not from here, you don't know here, and you haven't had the just enjoyment of all that this community brings, the meshing of different cultures and thoughts and opinions. That's what it's all about.
All positive.
Yeah, it's all right. We're expanding. We're putting in more housing. Come on, live here, be a part of the Delco community. Chris, this has been awesome. I enjoyed learning more about Canopy, and thank you for allowing us to know about Liberty Home Inspections and what you do and how you help the residents and business owners of Delco. We look forward to seeing more of what you're doing. Check out Chris's social media. If you got a couple of things or those big projects you've been thinking about doing, now's the time to get them on the calendar because they're booking up quick. It's the time. Make sure it happens and give them a call if you're looking to buy a home or do a pre-inspection if you're selling a home.
Rich, thanks for having me on, man, and thanks for all you do. Serious.
Thanks. Look forward to seeing you at the next Delco Meets for Business.